And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood, folks. And this is my third guest, and this has just been jam-packed full of information today. And this is Gerald Hodge, and Gerald is with Tennessee Overhill. And I love having Gerald on because we talk about trains. And we also talk about other things. We're going to talk about black bears today, too, but we're going to talk about trains. So fill us in on some things that are happening, Gerald.
Well, the train, we are, as of the end of July, we are 25% over where we were at the same time last year with the number of passengers.
Oh, wow.
So the majority of our passengers are in the fall, during the fall color season, but right now we're tracking, we may break 20,000 passengers this year.
Oh, my goodness.
It'll be the first time.
Okay,
ever.
so now just explain a little bit about what kind of trips you take.
Okay. Well, this year we've had we have 3 different excursions. One's the Copper Hill Special that goes all the way to Copper Hill. Those are typically on Saturdays. Then we have the Hiawassee Loop trip. It goes to Farner. Engine goes to the other side, and it comes back to G Creek State Park.
Okay.
And then the final one is during December. We have our Christmas excursion.
You have Santa.
That's about a 75-minute ride for the kids. It's about all attention span you can get out of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Even
you're
with
pushing
Santa,
that. Yeah.
Even with Santa being there. And so those are the rides that we have. We also have, if like a large group wants to rent the train for any reason, they have to contact Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum and make those arrangements. You know, they're able to do stuff during the week sometimes. So that's an option for like a corporation or something like that.
And that's 894-8028. Does that sound right? 423-894.
For Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum, that sounds right.
Okay, or they can go to tvrail.com.
That's correct.
And that's probably the easiest thing for them to do.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk a minute about this. My son wants to do this, and I told him when you came on I'd talk about it. So we want to go to Copper Hill, and so where do we get on the train to go to Copper Hill?
Well, you go to the depot first, and you'll ride about a short 10-minute shuttle bus ride down to G Creek State Park.
Oh, okay.
And exit the bus, and then get on the train there. It will go up. To Copper Hill. You'll spend about 2.5 hours in Copper Hill shopping and eating. Copper Hill has really turned around a lot since last November. There's been a lot of work being done. Some businesses have come in, so there's even more options now.
Wow.
To eat, shopping. They're about to open a Blue Ridge olive oil company. Tupelo Tea is coming in there.
Wow.
So there's a number of very nice businesses coming in there for people to shop at. And then after that, on the return trip back, Robert, my conductor, who you've met before, I believe, will play his banjo and sing to each of the cars and conclude the trip about 5 p.m. in the afternoon.
And when Robert's playing the banjo and singing, who's driving the train?
Well, Robert's just a conductor. He's not the engineer.
Oh, he's not the engineer.
So,
okay.
yeah, that's covered.
Good.
Yeah, the Department of Transportation would not be happy with
I wondered how they did that because there's not an automatic pilot on a train, is there? No. Okay. So I think this is going to be fun. And like I say, I'm going to go online and see what weekend my son wants to do this because he's, as I've told Gerald, I was raised riding the train, but he's never ridden a train.
Would do it quick because the fall, the trains are already filling up for the fall excursions. They're high demand.
Wow.
Okay. So get on it now if you can. We are adding a dome car. It is, matter of fact, it came on the line this last week. We're going to do some tweaks to it. It may not have passengers this weekend, but next weekend they should be able to have some passengers on it. So that makes us having 2 dome cars. We have not had 2 dome cars on the line in 5 years.
And the dome car, for their clarification and for mine, you've already explained to me, is just the glass top.
That's right.
So that you kind of feel like you're out in what's happening.
There's 2 different levels. There's the dome upstairs. That's the premium seating in it. It's not. It's the first class experience. and you can get up and walk. Of course, both places you can get up, walk around, but downstairs it's kind of more of a lounge feeling than a bus feeling, if you will, in the regular coach cars.
And my son would probably like being up there in the glass, and I'd probably like being down in the lounge area. One question that's always asked to me when I talk to people about this: are there bathrooms on the train?
Yes, absolutely they are.
Thank you.
Now, occasionally one will break on one car and you have to go to another car but we've got 4 other cars to be able to go to. So yes, there's bathrooms on
Yes,
a train.
because I had somebody say to me, I don't think I could make it from Etowah to Copper Hill. I'm thinking, surely you could make it from Etowah to Copper Hill, but maybe not.
Well, no, there are bathrooms on the train. One of the reasons why we would love to run through the wintertime, because with the foliage down, you can see the bald eagles.
Yes.
And I've seen bald eagles a number of times, because I like to ride in the late fall. After the leaves are down, you can see the eagles. They're out there and they're moving about and flying. However, once it starts freezing on a regular basis, the toilets have a tendency to freeze. Even
Not
though
good.
we it's just like with campers, you use the antifreeze stuff. Still, it has a tendency to be problematic, and getting replacement parts for these old vintage cars is very difficult.
I can imagine.
So.
Because people don't really manufacture train cars
No,
like they used to.
there's a matter of fact. There's a Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum shop down there has to fabricate some of the parts.
Oh, okay.
So they have a shop totally dedicated to that.
So this is, if you go to TV, and that's capital T, capital V, rail.com, and this will tell you everything you need to know. Yes. Now my son is too old for the Santa train, but some people would really enjoy that, I think, taking their young ones on the Santa train. I think that would be so much fun.
We switch it up a little bit every year. Santa will be on one car with Mrs. Claus, and then on the other 2 cars, they're either they're eating a snack, and then they're also in the other car. Then they're singing Christmas carols. So when Santa goes to the next car, then the elves will go from that car to the other car he just came from, and they'll do snacks or something like that.
And so that you're going to keep the kids entertained the whole
they're
time.
entertained the entire time.
That
yes.
is good. That is good. Now I know years ago I rode years ago the Loop. We did the Loop. We went out of the depot in Etowah, and we did the Loop. So is that what you're talking about when you're talking about Fannin County and?
Oh, we're not Fannin County. That's in Georgia.
Okay.
The Loop is near Farner.
Okay.
It is the line goes parallel and then up through the Hiawassee River Gorge.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll loop around Bald Mountain. It is the 3rd largest railroad loop in the world.
Okay.
And then it goes once you're off of it, it'll go towards Farner, and then both excursions go through. The Copper Hill Special and Loop they have to go through the Loop, but the Copper Hill Special continues on and goes into Copper Hill.
Okay. Well, I think I was probably 12 years old, and it was some kind of anniversary or something, because we all dressed up like the 1800s or something, and rode and took a picnic, and I don't know what all we did, but anyway, so I don't remember where I went.
The two biggest questions that I always get is, why don't we board in Etowah, and then why don't we have steam engines? And that's the 2 biggest frequently asked questions I get. We don't own the line in Etowah. That's CSX. It would cost us about $50,000 a month in insurance alone. So we're nonprofit. We can't afford that. And then we don't want to burn the national forest down. And with the steam engine, steam engines throw off sparks, not just from the flue, not just from the flue, but also from the brake system. So, and then in addition, you have to have the infrastructure for it. You've got to have the big water tanks you always see in the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to have that to be able to fill the engine, because it generates steam. Generates the power, so it's got to have water and the coal. And then that's the other thing, we don't have the coal bin facilities for that. So it's easy to do in Chattanooga, because that steam engine excursion the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum does is much shorter. So they can fuel, they can put water put coal on the train. They're at the station. It goes out, comes back in, and it can, just power up right there. So we would love, if anybody's ever been around a steam engine, they know the power, the chug that thing has.
The sound as it's coming down the track, yes.
And the whistle and the steam and the heat when it gets near you. But we can't do that, unfortunately.
I understand that. Now, there is a cost to this, and we don't have to start quoting cost, but there is a cost to any of these trips because you all are a nonprofit organization. You need to make money.
Well, not just make money. We've got to, the equipment, these are vintage old trains. So maintaining the line, maintaining the train, it's not cheap, and we don't get any money from the government to help us out. Occasionally we can ask for grants, but we can't always go and ask for grants all the time.
Right.
And we don't have a railroad authority in Polk County, which hinders me on getting any kind of grants from the state.
But it is reasonable. I mean, for a train ride, it is reasonable.
Well, this is a special. People don't do this every day.
Right.
Believe me, my last assignment was in Washington, D.C., and I rode a commuter train every day for an hour plus in the morning and an hour and plus in the afternoon. It gets old.
Yes.
Real quick.
Yes, it does.
But this is an experience that you can share with your families, especially with the little ones, because they don't. In this area, we don't have commuter trains.
No, we don't.
So, and plus the beauty of the Hiwassee River Gorge, that is something to behold. And we have people that, I did it last summer, I came back and did it in the fall, and I did it in the spring, and they're like, the people say I had a different experience every time.
You want to do the 4 seasons, but you don't do winter, and
well,
that's awesome.
Yeah, get it towards the last couple of weeks if you want all the foliage to be down. You will see a whole lot more of the terrain with the foliage down.
And that's awesome. And like I say, I grew up riding the train, but my son has never ridden a train. So this is he's the generation for me. And then you've got what would be my grandkids and this and that they need to ride the train.
Yes.
They need the experience.
Need the appreciation of what our forefathers did with building the nation, because the nation was built on steam.
Yes, it was.
Right just prior to the American Civil War, and then on through the industrial age. What transported things across the country. Cargo and passengers is an okay part of it. It was never a moneymaker for the railroads. Where they made their money at was moving material across the United States, raw materials.
And that's how America was built.
That's right.
Now we're going to digress a minute because you are a black bear enthusiast.
I am. The part of the mission of the Tennessee Overhill Heritage Association is we promote culture, tourism in Polk, Monroe, and Marion counties. We also, in our mission statement, promote the protection of natural resources. Black bears are one of our resources, and it's one thing that is often identified with the Appalachian Mountains. Of course, that's where we're at.
That's right.
We live in and among the Appalachian Mountains. The bear population, when I was a kid, I grew up in Sail Creek, Tennessee. The only time we heard about bears is it's always in Gatlinburg.
Right.
Well, today, black bears they're prevalent and they're all over the place. So we have a lot of human-bear interaction. A lot of it positive. Sometimes it can be negative. And one of some of the negative aspects we'll talk about here in a minute. But for last year, there was 200 bears that were just over 200 bears harvested in Polk County last year. The bear population is especially increased this past couple of years because the acorn crops have been.
We talked about that before we came on the air, which just surprised me. I mean, I knew that the bears reproduced better when the crops were better.
Right.
But you said there was a mama black bear with 7 cubs.
I was told in the past week or so that somebody had spotted a sow with 7 cubs. Now it could have been cubs from another sow that that had been orphaned or something, but because they do that kind of thing. But they're plentiful, and I know down in North Georgia we're seeing them down there a lot more too.
Wow.
So past 3 years ago we had 2 male yearlings that were running through downtown Athens. We talked about before we came on there about the patrolman hitting the bear in Red Bank and just totaling his car out. So they're out there. I've seen on the Eureka Trail in Athens, I've seen scat several times. So they're out, they're running around. You just got to be cognizant of it. You got to take some precautions. And I'll read you 6. There's 2 websites or Facebook pages people need to visit. First is the Appalachian Bear Rescue. They'll tell you some of their mission sets, what they do. They've been doing it for over 20 years now. They've rescued over 240 cubs. They deal in cubs. They're orphaned. They're hurt. They bring them in. They will mend them. They treat them to be released back out in the wild. They do not go to a zoo or something. So they have the setup to where it's ethical, an ethical setup, and they have very little human handling.
Okay, so once they do that, they are able to go back out into the wild.
They do,
okay.
And they have about an 80% survival rate.
Okay, good.
Now remember, the first year out in the wild, a cub only has about they have a 20% mortality rate. So it's pretty high, even when they're cubs and they're out in the wild. But here's and the other website is bearwise.org. Here's some 6 quick things for folks to follow to help lessen the possibility of a black bear encounter. First, never feed or approach bears. Period. Some of the shenanigans that we see with folks out in the national parks all over across the nation.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Secure food, garbage, and recycling. Bears have a keen sense of smell. They can smell stuff for very far distance, and they will follow their nose to where they have some food. Remove bird feeders when bears are active. They're active right now. Bears are starting to go into what's called hypophagia. Hyperphagia is when they are trying to chubify, as we call it. They're trying to get nutrients to fatten themselves up to get ready to go into hibernation. So they're eating air. They're hungry. Instead of hungry hippos, they're hungry bears.
Okay.
So they're going out there trying to find food to fatten themselves up. Never leave pet food out. Pet food's a smorgasbord for them. Clean and store grills because you got all that meat fat on there. They smell that, and they will get a grill and start licking it like a lollipop.
I hadn't even thought about that.
And then let neighbors know. Hey, I had a bear come around. You might want to make sure to, pick everything up and put everything up.
Well, I know when we had a cabin up on Towie Mountain, we tried to, if we grilled out, we tried to bring the grill then onto the deck and clean it really good and be sure we aluminum foiled and everything. Kept it in the cabin until we got ready to leave and put it in a bag and carried it off with us so that the bears wouldn't come up there then. But I was in Gatlinburg. We were talking about this before we came on the air. I was in Gatlinburg at the Park Vista about 3 weeks ago, and checking in up there, they said, do not leave food or chewing gum in your car. And I said, chewing gum? And they said, yeah, the bears can smell the juicy fruit or whatever it is, and they will break into your car for chewing gum.
But Gatlinburg, because of all the visitors, when a visitor appears, they need to be, when they check in, they need to be handed something like this to, don't do these things because, folks are coming from all over the country and they may or may not have black bears where they're at. That's one of the things I'm going to be working on when I move down to North Georgia. We have a lot of people coming up from Atlanta. And there are bears in the Atlanta suburbs that have started encroaching in those northern areas especially. So, but they get up there, and the cabin industry is huge in North Georgia.
Yes.
So they come up, they spend the weekend in the cabin. They don't know what they don't know, and a lot of times it'll get them in trouble if they don't. People need to stay 50 yards away. half a football field. A lot of people know what a football field looks like.
Yep.
Stay that distance away from a bear. Don't get between her and her cubs.
Oh, for sure not.
Never run from a bear because they can run 3 times faster than you.
Absolutely, and you don't need to try to climb a tree because they can do that too.
Well, they're experts at it,
Yes.
as a matter of fact.
Yes, they
that's
are.
the first one. The mama bear, first thing to do when they sense danger, they go up a tree, and that includes that mama. She might be 400 pounds, but she can shimmy up that tree pretty quick. If you have a sudden bear encounter, avoid abrupt movements. Hike in groups for safety. Carry bear spray with you. Learn how to use bear spray. Never feed a bear. Keep all your toiletries and other items away from it because, they smell stuff. Although black bear attacks are extremely rare, if you are knocked to the ground, fight back aggressively. Don't play dead. That whole thing of playing dead is a myth.
Okay.
Okay, and always remember that no matter how tame a bear may seem, they're wild animals.
Yes.
Down in the LJ area about 2 weeks ago, there was a cub that came and knocked on the door of a house. I got a. If you go back, no, I didn't put it on Tennessee Overhill's Facebook page. I put it on my personal one. The lady took a picture of it, and the bear's. I mean, it's the cub's cute as could be, but it's sitting there looking up at her, and she snaps a picture. Fortunately, she knew to leave it alone, and it, of course, went off to find its mama.
Isn't that something? Knocking on the door.
Yeah,
There we go.
Spoil scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how cute is that? And that's
Yeah.
what you think. How cute is that? And then you feed them. You give them a hot dog, or you give them a this or that.
And that will kill. A fed bear is a dead bear.
Okay.
You don't want to give them any. Look at them, take a picture of it, but don't touch it. Don't feed it. Don't interact with it, because once they get accustomed, when they start eating human food, one, it's very bad for them, and two, they will they'll come back. They know where they got fed at again, and when they do that, then they have to be euthanized. And we don't want that to happen. That's one of the things that we're trying to do is to prevent them from being euthanized. Bears are going to be a normal occurrence. They're going to come through neighborhoods and all that stuff. But once they start getting accustomed, dumpster diving or whatever for food, then they have to be put down.
Gerald, this has been so fascinating because I just, like I said, chewing gum, don't leave the chewing gum in your car. I'm thinking,
that's correct.
That can't be. But anyway, I'm going to miss you. You're going to North Georgia.
I'm going to North Georgia here in about 2 months.
Good luck. And I don't know yet who's going to be filling your position at Tennessee Overhill, but I wish you luck in North Georgia, and I hope whoever I get from Tennessee Overhill is as enjoyable as you've been.
Well, I've enjoyed each time I've come on here, and I enjoyed. I've enjoyed the past 5 years of being a representative and having the opportunity to be the director of the Tennessee Overhill.
And thank you so much for being on with me today. Folks, it's been a great day in Nancy's Neighborhood. We had 3 wonderful guests. I hope you've learned all kinds of things. So for today in Nancy's Neighborhood, I'm going to say bye-bye.